So there's one thing I really hate about dating gurus online who spew out dating advice that's not really being authentic to yourself. And I just wanted to target one of the kings in the industry, Matthew Hussey, and something he said on a news channel. Let's rock and roll.
Be a Rubik's Cube that's not quite finished. When someone finishes a Rubik's Cube, they put it down. All right, but until they've figured it out, they keep going.
Never want to finish that Rubik's Cube.
Have something that people are always trying to figure out about you.
Ooh, see the shift in the facial expressions there. I think he was probably saying something inauthentic and probably not from his heart core value. This sense of mystery, seduction, this sense that there's not true vulnerability, there's no true openness, and that person will continually guess to know that person inside. That strategy is only going to attract you someone who's dysregulated, not know themselves, and wants to play games with you, the chase and the catch, someone who likes to be avoidant. And we act like dating is like this sweet shop sensation where we're trying to be too good to be true and too hard to get. And in this state, we are just using seductive, game playing tactics, tricks, and this is all manufactured. This is not really you, is it? And when we start to portray this persona to the world, we're only going to attract like for like and people who are just as dysregulated as those very tactics. And when we're gobbling down and consuming advice from dating coaches like Matthew Hussey, who from this video shares his secrets to finding love 4 years ago before he ever was engaged or before he ever had a partner, we're really having advice from people who truly aren't walking the walk. Are you wanting to desire to be him and get the things that he's achieved and the results he's attained? Probably not, because he hasn't walked the walk. At this point of time, he's not really found the love of his life. So why would you absorb information from people who are not so successful in the dating realm? I think he's about 32 at this stage, and he's not in a healthy relationship, and he's giving advice on how to get a healthy relationship. And this kind of just doesn't feel integral. And in our own shape, if we consume people who are living out of integrity, we are going to be the very manifestation of lack of integrity too. And this very tactic to just be a guessing book is never a good way to attract love. And here's another one.
Now this technique, the suspense opener, allows you to do that. Here's what you do. Somebody tells you what they do. You then say, so let me ask you this. And then you pause. Another variation would be, okay, I have a question for you. The pause afterwards is a pregnant pause because they're waiting.
Again, this uses theory from the Law of Seduction book by Robert Greene. Lots of manipulated, manufactured sentences and psychological tricks to entice and seduce the very person you're dating. I get it, these tactics might be good for getting laid and having a transactional time. Now this is not who I'm talking to here. These are people who are emotional, sensitive, empathic, and these kind of relationships and these kind of manufactured tactics may get the guy, yes. However, are you going to get a emotionally available guy? Probably not. And so here are 5 quick tips to be authentically you and attract a partner, not listen to tactics from people like Matthew Hussey. Number 1, the famous Dale Carnegie quote, to be interesting, we have to be interested. However, not in the other person. I want you to get very interested in who you are. Now, it's nice to be open-minded, but being interested in someone who is massively out of alignment with you and you're trying to fake this interest is only abandoning yourself and falling into that very role of people-pleasing that we always need to break. So be true to yourself. Find out more about yourself so you become interested, not in a self-arrogant git way. It's about creating an authentic character people would love to get to know. Number 2, speak your truth. Now there's a lot of information out there to be precise in your speech and kind of overthink what's coming out of your mouth. The reality is we have probably lots of suppressed emotion and suppressed message that we've not really gotten out there. The word is your wand, yes, and how you speak to yourself is gonna have an energetic impact with how you show up. But also what you ask is tending to be what you receive. However, I really suggest if you have a frog in your throat and you feel very uncomfortable speaking up, looking at that trauma story where you felt that you were very shunned or victimized and then feared ever speaking up again, so you can likely rewrite that story that probably fears abandonment and betrayal as the 2 major keys to trauma, but you're creating new neural pathways from speaking before overthinking. Just as the Mel Robbins 5-second rule suggests, is that we act with our body and our mind will follow. After the 5-second countdown, which is the time it takes for our limbic brain to override and hijack our prefrontal cortex, which is the assessment center counter to what we're experiencing and the emotional response that we're feeling. So to get to the point, listen to your heart and speak whatever wants to come through for you. Forget tricks, forget dating hacks, and just speak how you feel. 4, clean up what you're consuming online, and hopefully the algorithm starts feeding you more wholesome ideals. Because we live in a very bro marketing world, which is lots of propaganda about scarcity, urgency, that you're not good enough, so you'll buy their product to feel better. So question all the time, does this message feel good to me? So for example, in South Korea, there's lots of cosmetics ads in the tube line when people are commuting. It's a sign that we're living in a culture that we are not good enough and we need that next Botox surgery to feel like we're enough. So look at what the intention is of that ad, likely to make money, and not to absorb it unconsciously and instead reflect it like it's not your truth and it doesn't mean anything to you. You kind of see through it transparently. If we're prey to our propagandic world, we're likely also going to be prey to manipulative men in dating too, who use the very same tactics to get you to make decisions, take haste, and feel that smaller role so they can feel in power. 5, use your emotional intuition. The number one emotion I'd say is pain. Look back at your story, where pain created passion for you and where pain is teaching you in lessons what to not settle for again. 2, anxiety. And the beautiful thing about anxiety, it is really trying to be a navigation system as to avoid the very pain that we experienced in the past. Now we need to distinguish what is trauma and what is our truth so that we're not sabotaging a good thing in front of us. 3, get clear on what creates satisfaction for you. And 4, have faith that there are secure, emotionally available men out there and that you can get that emotional available guy by becoming the emotionally available person from within. I'm a firm advocate of staying single and not feeling scared because you already have that very relationship you've been seeking, and it's time to go within. If you want more guidance and more support from the ground up, my mini course on how to heal heartbreak is a perfect step up for you. Just download in the link in my bio.